Let's go inside Beaver Dam High School athletics and activities right now as we bring in the fine Director of Athletics and Activities at Beaver Dam High School, Ryan Gerber. Busy time of the year, Ryan. A big game last night. Before we get into that, just how you doing? Get excited for a postseason to be starting in the very near future?
Well, we're making the coffee strong this morning. It was a late night at the rink last night, but yeah, it's a fun time of year, and postseason is officially here with wrestling getting started and basketball's closing out their season. So it's a fun time of year. This is what we've been building for the whole year and what we've anticipated. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is, and let's start with the fun last night at the Family Center Ice Arena. The Beaver Dam girls hockey team done something that has it ever been done before? I mean, they clinched the outright Badger Conference Championship. 2-1. It got intense down the stretch, that final 90 seconds, Ryan. But the D and the Red Wall, Emily Smeedema, held up strong, and Beaver Dam, outright Badger Conference champions, beating Cap City 2-1.
Yeah, what an accomplishment. And I think you hit it, said it best with Coach Pogo in the postgame. You know, there were expectations on this team all year. There were high expectations. Coach did talk to his girls about those expectations. And, you know, that's hard with a team that hasn't done it before, that hasn't won before, how they're going to respond in situations like that. You know, yesterday was a little different. They had to sit and watch the boys play before them, and that anticipation, that time delay, just that can be tough on a young team. So just really proud of their effort, really excited for their accomplishment. And for me personally, you know, it's about context, right? A couple of years ago, this team went winless. They couldn't score goals with any kind of consistency. Emily Smeedema was fending off 50, 60 shots on goals every single night. To go from that 2 years ago to seeing massive improvement last year, to being in a spot to clinch a conference championship this year is just an incredible growth. And I got to say hats off to every one of those girls that is on that team, how hard they've worked, not only as members of the high school team, but in the years prior, going back to the Wildfire days, or for some of our co-op girls where they've been playing youth hockey. And then a massive thank you and attaboy at the coaching staff, what they've done to change expectations.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those cases too, Ryan. Early in the season, you know, they were 1-4. They had a couple of hard luck overtime losses. You know, it could have, with a young team, it could have gone either way because they had a tough schedule coming up, looking at 1-4, and they have ripped off 13 of their last 15 games, including a perfect record so far in the Badger Conference. Their only losses to number 1 ranked Bay Area, number 2 CW Storm. So they just found ways to win, even when they they maybe haven't had their A game every night. Just they found ways, whether it be defense, offense, they found ways to score more goals than the other team.
It's about confidence, and I think the game that really opened up their eyes and really showed them that they could be doing something is the Warbirds game. Yeah. For whatever reason, there's some rivalry between the two communities, and certainly Beaver Dam had been part of that co-op at one time. It's amazing that there's a team that actually left that co-op. I just thought they added. But for Beaver Dam to get that win against a team that's had as much success as the Warbirds have had really opened up a lot of people in the community's eyes, but I think gave this team a lot of confidence. To your point, Wade, the games they've lost late in the year have been to the number 1 and number 2 ranked team in the state. So pretty good company there. And yeah, there have been some games that we've won that we haven't had our A game. We've started slow. But again, it's about finding ways to win. It's about being gritty, about grinding out wins, finding ways to win. That forces Coach Pogo to play different lines, play different players, get a lot of people a lot of reps and experience. That's only going to benefit them when they get into tight games late this year.
That's exactly it. And, still have some work to do in the regular season. They're going to make a trip up north. They've got Medford on Friday night and Northland Pines. They're going to play that game at Antigo, which anybody that's going is happy because it saves an hour of driving. Mm-hmm. But they'll play them on Saturday. And then Stoughton, they can go into that last game of the conference season. Obviously, you want to finish the job and finish off the regular season, with perfect record in league play. But and the next thing you know, most likely they will have a home game on Thursday the 20th in the sectional semifinal, and then we'll see what happens from there. You basically have to win 2 games to punch your ticket to state.
Yeah, and again, this team has lofty goals. One of them was to win a conference title, but their goals aren't done yet. And so it's really about refocusing. How do they bounce back? Now, they don't have ice tonight with it being Wednesday. So a lot of times they'll come in the morning. I don't know, Wade. I don't know if they had practice this morning or not. You could probably tell us. But getting them refocused Thursday for that big trip up north, and then how they respond going forward. But I just want to just say, as proud as I am of this team and the staff, the three seniors in particular, Emily Smeedema, McKenna Bartholomew, and Addie Damon, they were here and were on those teams that weren't winning. So for them to stick it out, for them to work hard and improve and to be in a spot to hoist that trophy last night, just look at that story in itself. That's an incredible story that they're going to have to tell. The story isn't done yet. We're still writing pages to it, but that story is incredible. And I thank every one of the families and those girls for sticking it out, staying with us, understanding there was a plan and a process to this, and we're finally seeing that.
Yeah, exactly, Ryan. Just congratulations again. And just so people know, on a housekeeping note, our next broadcast, whether it be on the radio or Daily Dodge TV, will be the playoff opener. Then the last three road games. You can come on down and, I don't know if you're driving up north, but go to Stoughton and watch them close out the regular season there. And my inside sources say that they did not have practice today, and they will practice at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Ryan, if you want to get up and observe practice.
Yeah, I'll make the drive.
All right, over to the Family Center. So congratulations to the girls. And again, you can go rewatch that game on Daily Dodge TV at the YouTube page and hear post-game comments from head coach Mike Pogorelic at dailydodge.com. Beaver Dam boys hockey team, it was senior night last night for that squad as well. Ryan, they dropped a tough 4-1 decision to RWD, but it was a great senior night for Doug Kraft's squad.
Yeah, and they're kind of in a unique spot. They've come off of two conference championships, and last year was just a magical run. So these seniors that are now graduating, they're in a different spot than maybe on the girls' side. But that being said, this team has accomplished so much, and I'm really proud of a guy like Mason Poznanski, who, it had been easy for him to fold up shop and ride off in the sunset and go play somewhere else after coming off those last 2 years into this year. But he wanted to make a go of this. He wanted to teach and to mentor. I see him with these freshman players. He's like the Pied Piper. They follow him all around. He's been a really great leader for that team. And then a guy like Zach Shave, who, he was behind Henry Vick for a number of years in the net, and now he's getting his opportunity. And boy, is he getting an opportunity! They've really needed him this year to play great hockey in net. So I feel good for those guys, even though it was a loss. I'm proud of their accomplishments. And then, Ben Schauman, who came to us this year as a goaltender, and he's a senior as well, coming to us from Columbus. And he's had to sit behind Ben. I thought it was a super classy move on Coach Kraft's part to get him into the game halfway through the game. I really thought they would wait till the end of a period, but they got him in mid-period there. And again, it's just this program, that boys program, has given us so much joy and excitement over the last 2 years. We knew it was going to be a step back this year just with the amount of youth, and they've got some guys banged up and beat up. At some point that youth and that undersize was going to catch up. But I can tell you, anybody that has any idea of this program or this team or what's going on, you got to take this loss with a grain of salt. This team is on the rise. They're going to continue to get better. They just got to get some of these young guys older, frankly. And a good off season with some weight training in there will certainly help too.
It will. So it's been fun watching Coach Kraft's squad this year. We're talking with Ryan Gerber, Athletics and Activities Director at Beaver Dam High School inside BDH Athletics, here on ESPN Beaver Dam, and also you can be watching this online or listening to it online. Hey, wrestling, it seems like it's always the first playoff potion to pop, isn't it? Because wrestling, we're getting postseason play here pretty soon here.
Yeah, conference tournaments this weekend in DeForest. And ironically, that's a program too that's got a lot of guys out of the lineup that started the year. They dropped a conference match to Milton, which I don't think a lot of people had on their bingo cards at the beginning of the year. But they find themselves in a position to continue to vie for a conference title. Milton lost to Monona Grove, a team that we beat. So they have to wrestle well this weekend. And I have said it before, I really like their chances in tournament play. For those who don't understand wrestling, there is a difference between a dual meet team, a team that does really well in a matchup, one team versus the other, because it's all about matchups, versus a team that's really good in tournaments where you just let each individual go to the weight they're supposed to be at, and they just compete against the people in those weights. Very few teams are good at both. Now, to your background, Wade, Wisconsin Rapids during their heyday, they could have beaten anybody. They were nationally ranked. They could do well in both duels and invites. But a lot of teams are stronger usually in one or the other. I feel like this team, as strong as they've been in dual meets, is even stronger in individual tournaments. I think they'll have 5 or 6 guys that could easily be in that third to first place slot. And again, in wrestling, the higher you finish, the more points you bring in as a team. That gives you a much better chance to score points. They need to finish ahead of Milton at the conference tournament on Saturday. And if they do that, I think they'll have a great shot at bringing home some hardware.
All right, can't wait to hear how that works out this weekend. Coach Winker and his squad doing a fantastic job. What's happening on the girls' side with wrestling as we head to the postseason now?
Same thing. There'll be a conference this weekend, and that one, our prospects are a little tougher. Just based on the sheer number of individuals you put into a tournament will determine points. So, I do like our chances at having some high place finishers. I think Charlie Winicky, who we've talked about before, who was up at the state tournament, she should be vying in that 3 to first place spot at the tournament. It's whether the team can get contributions from the other girls on the team to score points in place. Now, both teams will be in action next week for regionals. The boys will be here on Saturday. There'll be 7 other schools that come in for the regional, and that's a very tough regional, by the way. So if you're looking for great wrestling, come on down Saturday. But Friday, the night before, we're hosting the girls' regional. It's the first ever in Wisconsin, the first ever wrestling regional. We'll have 21 other schools coming here to compete for an opportunity to move on to the sectional. So it's a really special thing. When the WI put this out for a girls' regional, we wanted to be part of that inaugural opportunity and to provide that opportunity not only for our girls, but girls in our area. You don't build a sport by co-oping away. You don't build a sport by not hosting. You build a sport by rolling your sleeves up, getting to work in your community. And I think our wrestling community, our wrestling program has responded to that, and I'm happy to continue to host.
All right, great stuff there. Exciting to see what kind of run the wrestling teams can make. Basketball, let's start with TJ Julka's girls basketball team heading down the home stretch. They're right in the mix for a Badger Conference championship to be in contention. They went a higher profile game in the state on Monday night. They went to 2-time defending champ Laconia. They were a close game, and Laconia kind of pulled away late in the second half to get the victory. But Coach Julka's squad Thursday night will bounce back in a game at Milton as they will head down there on Daily Dodge TV and ESPN Beaver Dam.
Yeah, and I'm just happy that everybody minded their speed driving to Laconia to that game.
Yes, because you have to go through getting into town, correct.
But, I wasn't able to make that trip, but I did tune into the broadcast, and at one point in the second half, that game was cut to 5 points with an opportunity to cut it further. So again, Laconia is a tough team. I think everyone's got them penciled in to be at the state tournament and possibly win it, Division III. So that was a great test for our girls just to match up and see where we are compared to them. And they fought hard. I just think the difference in that game was simply, the quality depth that Laconia has, very few programs have. And to be fair, Beaver Dam has had that going for them in the past too. So what they were doing to us on Monday is what we've grown accustomed to doing to other teams in the past. So I think a game like that is going to give us some confidence down the stretch that we can play with anybody. And I think that's important, especially with a really tough upcoming schedule. You look at, they've got 5 games left on their schedule. They got to go to Milton. which was a tough game. We played them here earlier in December. We have Wanakee at home, which you have to beat Wanakee. Heads up, we dropped that game over there. We have to beat Wanakee if we want to play for a conference title. And then you still got Oregon, Brookfield East in a non-con, and then we close out with a rivalry game on the road at Monona Grove. So Coach Julka's team is going to be super tested over the next couple weeks, and those games will not only determine whether they have a conference championship opportunity or not, it's also going to determine seeding based on record. So they've got a lot of important games. It's going to be really important how Tay Donaldson plays. Of course, she got her 1,000th point the other night or the other day rather, at Fort Atkinson. How she plays and what contributions you get from Shea Ashley, Emma Julka. Abby Gukenik's been scoring a bunch of points lately, especially from beyond the arc. So what do you get from those other contributors on the team to really build the scoring up and to push them over the edge? They're outscoring teams right now, 1076 to 929. They're going to have to really bring their A game over these next 5 weeks. And, of course, you talk to Coach Julka as much as anybody. He's going to tell you, and I'll say it here, they build themselves around defense. Defense is going to be the key determining here, but they're going to have to score as well against these better teams.
All right. And, another team that when they have their A game, they can beat anybody in the state, and that's the Beaver Dam boys basketball team. They got a nice victory over rival Watertown on Tuesday night, and Coach Landren's squad looking to kind of push their way as far up in the standings as they can as they head down the home stretch.
Yeah, and they've got Milton. They've got Milton this week on Friday. That's a home game here, and then they'll be playing Delavan Darien up at the Herd Center after that. And then they've got really important conference games to finish up. Wanakee at Wanakee, DeForest here at home, and then got to go on the road to play Oregon, which we all know what that game was like here in BD. So they've got another really tough stretch of games. And again, that'll have a huge impact on seeding later. The boys right now are sitting at 10-8. They're not going to get too far ahead of themselves. They're looking one game at a time and how they can match up against Milton, and having an opportunity to talk to Coach this morning about just the Watertown game and all the contributions they got from different members of that team. I think the Parker brothers had another huge night, and I think Stobie was like 7 for 9 or 7 from 10 from beyond 3-point range. If they could do that, I think they're going to like their chances in a lot of those games. The question is, can they get the shots to fall?
Exactly, and they have a game with Delavan Darien at the arena. Now, that's on the 22nd of February now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's in a few weeks. I know that's a kind of a cool game to get to play on the field or the court that the Wisconsin Herd plays on, and kind of a different type of bigger arena atmosphere for the boys basketball team. That's a fun place to play.
Yeah, that game was originally something we were looking at playing at Fiserv, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. That's okay. So we'll go up to the Herd, and that'll be a great opportunity, and frankly, a great opportunity for a lot of our fans to be able to show up and get excited for that game. So I'm happy we were able to do that for our kids, to give them that opportunity. And it is a nice break. We'll get three conference games in a row, and then we'll get a break in non-conference. Playing Delavan, and then gearing up for that big one against Oregon.
Ryan, a couple other things that I mentioned, a couple of figure skaters from the area getting to do some stuff on an even larger level that attend Beaver Dam High School. I know you want to talk about one, and I'll talk about the other.
Yeah, sure. So Claire Stevens this week, she's a junior here at the high school, finished second out of 13 at the Midwest competition, and she's earned herself a spot at the Nationals tournament in Colorado later this spring. So I know synchronized figure skating has been a big deal here in town, and certainly they're one of the tenants over at the rink next to hockey. So while we don't sponsor figure skating, while it's not a WIAA sport, Claire is one of our students, and we certainly are proud of what she's been able to accomplish and have a lot of success. And anytime any of our athletes go, or any of our students go to a national tournament and something that they have this kind of work involved, that's a big deal. So definitely want to say hats off to her and best of luck as she continues on in her skating journey.
Yeah, another junior figure skater, Claire Raisbeck, who competes over in Fond du Lac for the Blades. They went to How would you like this, Ryan? They went to Great Britain in the UK for an event in mid-January. They came back, and then this last weekend they were in France for an event, and they finished near the top of the standings over there as well. And our good friend Dan Balch wrote something up for us. You can read that story at dailydodge.com. So congratulations again. Figure skating, I can sit and watch practices for figure skating sometimes when I'm at the rink for like something else. It's amazing how the figure skaters, the synchronized group skating to me is, I don't know how they do it, but it's just unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, I walked out on the ice last night to present a trophy. I'm not sure I was real graceful walking, let alone putting skates on. But man, it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of dedication, not only by the student but also the family. I mean, to put your child on a plane to go to around the world to compete. Man, I can't imagine. I'm wondering what Big Jared charged for the bus trip for that.
You know what I would love to see for maybe someday we can do? Let's do a synchronized skating event. Ryan Gerber, Russ Tronson, John Casper, and we'll just throw in Nate Wilkie.
Well, I was going to say, I think all the different things I'm seeing, I think Wally needs to be part of this as well.
Wally Lukashinsky, right? Get Wally out on figure skates as well.
I think I saw Wally sprinting across the ice last night, so I think he might be the favorite.
We'll have to talk to Wally, and that's a whole nother show, getting Wally to do stuff across the region. But the congratulations to the Clares again. Figure skating is a lot of hours that you have to put in, and well deserved the honors that they are getting there. Ryan, a couple of things activities wise. I know you had the Choral Fest was Monday night at the auditorium. You had hundreds of kids on the stage, 6 through 12. Doing their concert, Pops Across the Pond. It was all songs from Europe, and it was a fun time. And they're doing a lot of stuff here now as well, heating up.
The one thing I really like about our music program is they incorporate or find opportunities to incorporate all the different grade levels and kids from all across the schools into one event. That's really special. That doesn't happen everywhere. And so when you look at our high school programs and see all the success they're having, the quality is so strong, but also the numbers, that's a direct correlation to the hard work, the planning, the foresight that our music department in general is putting together. So, again, we have the String Fling and the Parade of Bands, which brings them all together. Now we have the Choral Fest that goes with that. Just an incredible opportunity for our kids, but also another opportunity for our community to come out and really take in the work that our kids are doing. And by the way, I should mention, we are still looking at dates to reschedule Parade of Bands. So that's still on the table as we look for a date in the spring.
All right, Ryan, again, the best way for people to find out anything going on with Beaver Dam High School athletics and activities, how do they do it?
Well, they can certainly go to badgerconference.org and on the right-hand side to find Beaver Dam High School and our schedules there. You could give us a call, and you could reach out to Austin Keach. He'd love to talk to you, or you could reach out to me, or check us out right on our website. Don't Google search Beaver Dam High School Athletics. Go to the high school page, and then from there go to athletics and activities.
All right, Ryan, I appreciate all you do. I know it's long hours especially during the winter sports season. We get these games that go on late at night, and you're up early. So thanks for all you do, and we will chat next week.
We'll see you around, Wade.
That's this week's edition of Inside Beaver Dam High School Athletics and Activities with Ryan Gerber on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.